So what does devotion mean to you?
Well, I think for me it's about trying to remember as much as possible from when I wake up through when I go to bed, and maybe even when I'm sleeping, like what I'm dedicated to, what I want to invest my life force, my prana into. And I think that can show up in really ordinary ways, and then also at times extraordinary, ways as well. Yeah. And so it's really like, the other thing I was thinking about when we were preparing for this is the relationship between the word motion and emotion. And I think that's like when there's a feeling, when we're feeling what we're doing in our lives with, when Bhakti Yoga would be called bhav, like the bhava, like this feeling of devotion, when we're pouring our heart into something, it makes all the difference in the world. And there's another phrase that I find really interesting related to motion, is there's an expression, going through the motions, which is this sense of like dully dialing it in, being really numb and just sort of going through the day without a lot of feeling, and connection. But then there's this expression, being moved by something. And it's interesting that the word motion is in both of those, and so for me, devotion is practicing being moved, and moving feeling, moving my heart, and investing my heart into what I'm doing as much as possible. And sometimes I'm not able to do that. And but I try to. Yeah. What about you? What does devotion mean for you, Sandy?
I love the fact that you say you try to, because part of the conversation that I'm hoping that we can have today is that not every day is perfect. And perfect is not even a thing in my mind, right? So the fact that we bring awareness and consciousness to our everyday and try to do our best, to me, that's already a winner. Because it doesn't have to be one way or the other. I don't have to have an expectation for what my day needs to be. However, I do make the intent and the effort and the intentionality of putting my heart and my soul into everything that I do. And I'll give you some examples. When I first met Dr. Ladd, and this was in India during my Panchakarma, I remember it was the first time that I was introduced to Dinacharya, which is your daily practice. And ideally, some of you could or maybe are planning on having a daily practice. And that daily practice could have multiple things that happen from the time that you wake up. So perhaps you wake up and you take your hands like this, and then you create some energy. And as you create the energy, perhaps you put it on your eyes, just to wake up on your face, on your shoulders, whatever that may be. That's a daily practice, right? But I had never really heard of it until I heard Dr. Ladd saying, oh, Dinacharya, and you have a sequence of things that you can do. Now, reality is that sometimes life may kick in, and you wake up in the morning and you turn the alarm clock off, and then you didn't get a chance to do your thing. So then I don't want you to feel like a failure. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I didn't do it today. That's okay. But the intentionality, the remembering, the bringing us back home of, okay, I didn't do it today, it's okay, I'll remember again tomorrow, and I'll bring that. That's what, to me, that devotion is. When we bring intentionality, consciousness into our everyday, and brushing our teeth is a practice. It's something that we do every day. So how can I brush my teeth with more intentionality, where I'm not just flying through the emotions, like you said, like going quickly, oh, I have to go get it, but actually feel it, and then perhaps notice, wow, the water temperature that it feels in my mouth. It's like all these little details that can become a wow.
Absolutely.
In your day if you just begin to pay attention.
That's right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And the thing that I often remind myself about is quality over quantity when it comes to daily practice. Yeah. And I think sometimes I I think New Year's resolutions is a good example where we have this like opportunity to like turn the year over and this new, and we think about, well, it's a whole new time, a new era. And I think a lot of us, myself included, tend to be really ambitious. You know, I'm gonna run 10 miles a day, you know, every day.
I'm guilty of that too. Who else? Raise your hand.
And then, you know, 5 days in. And then, so I think we defeat ourselves oftentimes by setting the bar really unrealistically high. And I think it's better to, you know, there's that practice of mindfulness, you know, but like heartfulness, you know, as well as mindfulness. Better to be heartful and mindful for a few minutes than to be dull and numb for a few hours, you know. And I think that it's also really setting achievable goals for ourselves to reach a point where we want to do it again the next day because we miss it so much, you know. I think that's really a wonderful way to go about it. So I think sometimes rather than setting the bar really high and trying to really do something that is really unrealistic to be able to stay consistent with, just to say, oh, I'm going to do this, you know, every morning with my full 100%, you know, of my awareness and devotion, then, you know, 3 hours of yoga practices and cleansing practices in the morning. If you have the time to do that and it's realistic to do that, wonderful.
That's right.
But I think many of us, householders living, have responsibilities, you know, things to take care of. It's better just to focus on the quality rather than the quantity.